The Mr. Beast event? I suppose I do need to talk about it, don't I? I did promise everyone I would. Alright. Let's have a chat about this event, ignoring the fact that it nearly traumatized me off civ events as a whole. Just kidding. I don't think I'll ever give them up. I've got too many friends and too many beautiful communities around me. But let's see. Let me just check my notes here. Alright, let's see what this says. Wrote something down to get me to remember what I needed to talk about. Alright. Let's just open this book up here. Yes, it says talk about the Mr. Beast event. How helpful, past me. Thank you so much. Well, I suppose we'll just have to figure it out another way, huh? Alright, so before I answer questions I've gathered, I want to talk a bit about the event in general. I'm sure many, if not all of you, have heard my fellow girls talking about their experiences in this event. It's taken me a while to come out with my perspective from this event because truthfully, this was a difficult event with emotional moments, both before and after my assassination. Not to mention, I was actively sick during the entire event. I had an upper respiratory infection and was fighting off an old chronic condition flare-up. I was in pain, actively, during the event, while still holding down a job. With this in mind, I want to share what happened and show that there was more goodness tied in with the awfulness. I plan to tell my story and uplift some girls who deserved their names to be shown far more. People were not always kind to leaders. I got called some pretty nasty names, accused of some really odd things, and generally people were mostly, well, unpleasant at times for, I don't know. I got called a corrupted leader for trying to shut down a conversation on the Discord that was actively causing distress to members of the UGF. A lot of things weren't what they seemed. Would I trade the friends I made from that event if it meant I hadn't had to play in it? No. Do I still regret a lot of that event? Yes. But do I regret the good things? No. There were girls in there I was so glad to have met. They made it better than it would have been otherwise. I found a community who cried with me, cheered ups and downs, and just all the moments of that event, and reassured me when I doubted myself, even despite the voices that discouraged me. For that, I'll be forever honored to have known them. But you're not just here for that. Starting off, I wasn't originally elected leader. Originally, I was elected to what became Celeste's job, community head. I had also been in the running for overall leader and had gained the second most amount of votes, which is what led me to become overall leader when our original leader didn't make the whitelist, which I'll touch on more further into the video. We went through so much that wasn't shown in the video. There were tough choices made, events held, actual trials, besides the silly little egg one, which, by the way, Ari was in on. She helped me plan the time for it. She had a lawyer prepared. I had a bodyguard for a lot of the event because of the weird situations going on. Shout out to my wonderful bodyguard Judy, who stuck by me until moments before my death. When I insisted, it will be all right. I trust Kale and Koru and Taro. One of the issues we had in the UGF was our organization. We had a lot of tiny groups who wanted the same representation as larger groups. And we wanted to give them a seat at the table. But at some point, meetings became too large, and when we asked people to take steps back, to delegate, people didn't like that. Despite folks telling me simultaneously that I needed to start putting my foot down. Another was just the scale of all this. With money involved, it led people to make rash, inconsiderate, and often selfish decisions, one they wouldn't ordinarily make. This leads into one of our first questions, a combo question from some folks on TikTok. One with an emoji name and one by the name of SST_Pova. I got the chance to participate in this event through Issue State. The folks who played in 2.7 were pinged with notice of this event. We all had to submit an application, including a video. Still have mine, come to think of it. Though, if you're interested in Civ events as a whole, there are dozens of communities out there. I myself help run evergreen events alongside Pinerd and Peppermint, but there are dozens of communities out there who run these events. Find reputable ones and put effort into your application. Forge your own stories without diminishing other people's fun. Enjoy the game before you try to impress people. Our next two questions come from Celeste herself. What was my favorite memory in the event, and what would I have done differently with my knowledge now? Well, for one, not followed you into the bunker. Kidding, but seriously. With what I know now, I would have been a lot more firm and hands-on when it came to creating a strategy to deal with the boys. There were a lot of gaps in our approach to working as a team, and our two build leads, Flower and Lexi, carried most of the burden. They were overworked and honestly very tired. With such a large group of girls all together, it was difficult to get folks working together long term. My favorite memory was honestly probably seeing how much people cared when I was in distress. The people who checked on me after how I was treated truly showed me who valued me as more than what I could bring them. I dealt with a lot of distressing moments at times, and my assassination was very personally frustrating, not helped by its poor handling. But several girls rushed to my defense to check on me and defend me. Wynn and Judy came from their wedding to bring my killers to trial. They even wore their wedding dress skins while they were prosecuting. It brought a smile to my face, and it helped to diminish some of the pain I was feeling after everything that had happened. It made me feel loved, and I think that's really all I could have asked for there. That leads into a comment from Pug. I bet it was crazy to get killed by your own teammates from suffocating because no one knew it was an assassination. Well, you are right, it was crazy, but it was known that it was an assassination fairly quickly. Several people saw me leave with Kale and the others, including my own bodyguard, Judy. My refusal to say how I died probably helped, and in addition, the perpetrators banning me from the Discord server, which was later reversed at the insistence of several girls, but it cemented suspicions of it being an assassination, as it would have been out of character for me to just leave after stating I wouldn't say anything more on it. Speaking of Discord, our next question asks just that. From Thyrotherry, how much of the action happened on Discord rather than Minecraft? This is a complicated question, but not an unfair one. Quite a lot happened on Discord. Our initial elections were over Discord, but due to concerns about organization time. Our original leader elected wasn't actually me, but my dear friend Phonix, an incredible organizer who has so much of my respect and remained as a moderator for the Discord server. Unfortunately, due to the way the whitelist was handled, Phonix did not make whitelist. As the elected community head and the person who had received the second most votes for overall leader, I ended up stepping into the role of leader. I admit, I felt a bit underprepared for it. Perhaps blindsided would be a better word, but I tried to make the most of it. A lot of arguments happened over Discord. I got called a dictator multiple times for shutting down the chat during a heated moment, along with some other names I won't repeat in polite company. I got told I needed to put my foot down by some, but also that I was too harsh by others. Many of our main communications for each day were done over Discord. It helped with organization and gave general updates to let people know what we needed to work on. This question comes from CookieBoy9135 on YouTube. How did it feel when you were called for a secret talk underground before Betrayal, and how did it feel when you realized it was a trap after getting first hit by them? Well, when I was told they needed to talk to me, I thought nothing of it. These were my most trusted girls, people I had trusted since the beginning, who I thought understood the troubles of the community we were having, who I trusted to communicate with me. When I first got sand-trapped, I thought it was an accident at first. We dealt with so many issues with lag and accidents that I genuinely thought something had accidentally been triggered. I logged out in a moment of panic so my friends could dig me out. I had to be told I was being assassinated. Kale had to message me and tell me it was an assassination attempt. I trusted those girls so implicitly that it didn't occur to me even for a moment that they were going to betray me. It made my death all the more tough. The fact that these girls who I had trusted chose to go straight for assassination and skipped the talking stage made it all the more frustrating, and I found myself pretty disappointed with the whole affair. I found myself just upset, numb even. The next question comes from Kat. I've seen other videos claiming they simply misconstrued you guys in particular, and then just generally a lot of misogyny as a result of the girls losing. How's that been impacting you, and has there been a lot of, misconstruing about what you said or did in particular? Well, if I'm honest, this whole event impacted me in just a number of ways, but the misogyny in particular was just awful when this all came out on Twitter. We got accused of being sore losers. I've seen boys tell fans who liked the girls that we were getting what we deserved, among things that are not repeatable. There was also a lot of trans misogyny that I and several others spent hours countering on Twitter and other platforms. As for myself, there were several of my actions that were misconstrued. I was not an absent leader, at least not in the way that I was presented. Yes, the first day or two I missed some of the event. We were given such short notice on the schedule that I was unable to take off for work due to the 6-hour-plus long sessions. But afterwards, I tried to go around individually to each group I could find to make sure they had what was needed. I discussed plans, attended meetings. The big missed meeting in the video, I'd made it clear to the person scheduling that I could not be there at that time because of work. I was there far more than the video shows, and even more over Discord. Even at work, I checked on the group. I was communicating on Discord when there was time, when I had a break. In addition, my interview was cut around very conveniently. I said a lot more than what was shown in both of them. I suppose there had to be a way to justify my assassination for the video, so an absent leader I became. And for the one person in the comments who said they felt bad because it sounded like I was crying, I was. Much love. And to all the people who put sweet comments about my death, I appreciate it. But also, who is going to tell me that my death is the most rewatched part of that video by a long shot? Why are you people watching my death so many times? I just want to know. Is someone drawing dramatic? I don't know. Thank you? But this next question comes from the root of beer. I've heard a lot about there being a lot of foul players with things like Russians, bribery, etc., and I would love to hear if you've had any experiences with those things. She also wants to know about fan art, but I'll address that in a moment. Yes, we had some Russian boys come and deep-fake themselves in order to gain access to our team. It was a whole mess, we had proof, and they laid traps that hurt our chances for multiple days that staff was unable to find and effectively eliminate all of them. But bribery was actually something we discussed when choosing leaders. We had people who could really use that money. Mothers, girls who depended on streaming for their income. Did I mention no one was allowed to stream during the event times? The days were 6+ hours each, for 7 days straight at peak streaming hours. We had one of ours have a baby during the event, even. All this to say, bribery was a real concern in the UGF. I never blamed any of the girls who took bribes. We were annoyed at the time, sure, but I kept my campaign promise to understand and be compassionate towards the girls who accepted bribes. DoorDash girls, they could never make me hate you. As for fan art or other inquiries, I've got a bunch of socials options. I'll put them on screen so you can screenshot them. I'm on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and a smattering of others. I'm also reachable on Discord, but that tends to be more of a find me in the wild scenario. I'd like to finish off by saying thank you to the girls I made friends with thanks to this video. To Win, Judy, Koru, yes, even Kale, and so many others, and to all the girls who stood up for our rights to be heard. You are all the bravest, kindest people I have known. I'm honored to have had the chance to meet you. I'd also like to say thank you to both Ish and Hoodie, who reached out after the video came out to check on me and hear my feedback on everything that happened. And to those watching, thank you all so much for sticking around and waiting for this video. I understand it's been a while for this to come out. I had quite a few roadblocks, including 2 weeks where I just had massive migraines. But I'm glad to finally be able to put this video out, so I can move on to much more fun endeavors and hopefully make some content that has a bit more of a light-hearted tone to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what all of you think and, on towards a better future. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.